Well, awesome, Julie. Thank you so much. Thank you for those kind words right up front about being happy. And here's what I share about that with folks, that it is just your energy that I'm sending back to all of you. So I'm really just a mirror shooting that back. So it's really your energy all along. So if you're happy because I've been in the room, it's just because I'm sending your energy back to you. And it's really you all along. So take credit for that. So thank you so much, Julie. And it's also a good chance for me to introduce myself in a real short way, because a guy my size can only do that in a short way. But I will also let you know where we're going to go on our way today as we go. But before I do that, I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to do a virtual round of applause to Julie Elkin. So let's all do that right on your screen. If you're on screen, just do like I'm doing or give her an air high five, however it works for you in your area, because she has been a trooper to make these happen for all of us in the most unique setting that we have ever experienced. So Julie, thank you so much. And she'll also be Vanna White. So she'll be my slide exchange. So when you hear me say, next slide, please, I'm not buying a vowel or I'm not turning a consonant over on TV. We're just going to go to the next slide on your screen. So we'll enjoy Vanna Julie as we move through the day. And we also applaud her because she's done this for so many different presenters for so long. So thanks again, Julie, very much. So you say, okay, Mike, I know you a little bit from this spot of the world or that spot of the world, but what's this Vice President Alt Care? Well, let me just give you a real skinny version of my journey to what you see on the screen. Born and raised in a little spot called Minerva, Ohio, Minerva High School, University of Mount Union, graduated from Mount Union with my education degree and played 4 years of baseball there. So I'm a teacher right out of the gate, taught middle school learning disabilities and then 5th grade. Became a school district principal and then a school district superintendent in Minerva, and then finished my education career as the superintendent of North Canton City Schools. So 30 years as an educator, the final 19 of those as a school district superintendent. So many of you probably know me from my school world. So you say, Mike, so what's the alt care thing? What happened there? Well, I was a superintendent sitting on the Alt Care Board of Directors representing 22 school districts with their health plan as part of something they call the COG. So Rick Haynes and the Alt Care folks saw my work and said, Mike, if you ever think of retiring at the 30-year mark when we know you can, would you come over and work with us on community engagement and organizational development? And I said, hey guys, I'm just a school guy. I don't know if you really want me. I'm just the school guy, little Mike. They said, no, we think you can be helpful. So that was 9 years ago. I have been with Alt Care 9 years. And so retired as a 30-year educator and in my 9th year with Alt Care, doing community engagement and organizational development, helping leaders be the best versions of themselves that they can. So there's the background with little Mike that you see at the top of your screen. And then here's where we're going to go today. I honor the gift of time. So know that I will be done ahead of the 1 hour mark purposefully, because you're giving your gift of time. I need to honor that. And so I will make sure that we lift you up, energize you, and still keep you on your day as your day will roll forward. So setting the stage for that. And then as you look on the screen, you see this, your Sherpa spirit, why you prevail and remain victorious with those you serve. You're saying, Mike, are we going into battle? Or are we going into a ball game somewhere? No, it's life's game. And the reason I use Sherpa spirit and prevailing, being victorious with those you serve, is it's all about using our spirit of service and lifting others up. So serving can be as a husband or a wife. It can be as a mom. It can be as a coach. It can be as a friend. So service is not assigned to a title. It's assigned to our skill set. Those God-given skills and talents that we're able to give to others. And in this last year, that has been a challenge because folks have needed unique types of energy of service like we've never seen in 100 years. So I use that phrase, prevailing and remaining victorious with those you serve, because you've had to sustain a certain spirit. And I chose the Sherpa because of their uniqueness. And here's the story about the Sherpa that will allow you to connect to why you are so good. You see, the Sherpa are an Indian tribe in Tibet. So go to China in your mind and use the Himalaya mountains. And most importantly, Mount Everest. We hear folks always wanting to conquer a climb of Mount Everest. It almost defies human ability. Many folks fear that it may not make it, and they're not sure that they can scale it because of all of the things that are treacherous along the way. Well, that's how this last year has been for all of us. Emotionally, socially, professionally. We haven't been sure that we can scale the mountain. We have needed special skills. We have had to adjust and manage strange things throughout this climb. And the visual there is you. It's you making your way up the pandemic mountain. Not really sure where the summit is, but knowing that you'll get there because there is a top somewhere, just like this year has been for us. There's an end somewhere. And we have folks along the way that we have encountered and interacted with. And we've had to figure it out. And we continue to figure it out. So today's talk is going to stir up your spirit about the Sherpa, the way they have helped others climb Mount Everest, the toughest thing to scale, which is a metaphor for how life has been for us, and using our skills and talents to do so. So I open with a quick story to put a smile on your face, and then we're going to start our climb. Here's the story. There's a state highway patrolman sitting beside the highway, typical passage of cars. It's a highway that you go 55 miles an hour on. And he's sitting there like we've all seen him with his gun out the window, managing the speed. And he hits this particular radar on a car coming toward him, and it says 22 miles an hour, 22. He gets nervous. He thinks the gun is not working. His radar gun is not working. So he puts it out there again, 22. So the car eventually gets to him and goes by, and he decides, I better pull this car over. Going slow is almost as bad as going too fast. So he whips out, puts on his blue lights. You know, it doesn't take him very long to catch him. And he pulls him over to the side of the road. He walks up and he looks in the window. There are 4 women age 80 or more. Picture this in this car. And he leans in, she rolls her window down the driver. And he says, hi, ladies, how are you? And of course, the driver looks at him. None of the other women are even looking at him. They're so scared. And he says, ma'am, do you know how fast you were going? She said, yes, sir, I do. 22 miles an hour. I had it on my cruise. He said, you're right. That's exactly how fast you're going. Do you know what the speed limit is along here? She said, 22. That's what that sign said back there. He said, well, I'm not sure what sign you're looking at, but it's really 55 along this road. You're going 22. I wanted to let you know that you probably need to speed up, or you could be a problem for the other drivers. So she says, oh, I'm so sorry. That sign back there said 22. And as she points to it, he looks back down the road and he looks at her and says, ma'am, that's not the speed limit sign. That's the sign for the highway number that you're on. You're on highway 22. Oh, she leans back, she said, I am so sorry. I thought I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do. I was going 22. Thank you for clearing that up. He says, no worries. I just wanted you to know. But by the way, the other 3 women don't look very good in here. They haven't said a word and they are staring straight ahead. Are they going to be okay? She looks over her shoulder at them, looks back, says, oh, they're going to be great here in just a little bit. We just got off highway number 119. Picture that. So she was just doing her job, reading the signs and going the speed. Oh, but was she reading the wrong signs? Can you picture those other 3 women holding on in there while their friend is just doing the speed limit of 119? Oh my goodness. Here's the takeaway with our smile right now. We have had to read the correct signs and travel the right speed this last year. We've had to figure out what signs to look at and to be very clear on what they tell us. We have not been able to have the luxury of making too many mistakes with our speed limit. You get the story while the smile is still on your face. And that same thing is true about scaling Mount Everest, or in this case, being victorious as we've served one another. We've had to read the right signs, travel the right speed, and once in a while, we've needed that trooper to give us a little reminder of just what both of those are. So our journey today is going to be about reading the right signs, traveling right speed, and how you've been so good at that, so good at it. So Julie, if you'd click to our next slide. And I'll pause there. It made it up on my screen.
Okay. I was going to say, I wanted to make sure you didn't freeze. Good.
Nope, we're good. And we'll pause there. And of course, folks, you can use the chat. Julie will let you know if you need a little help. We'll pause and take our time with this. You heard me allude to the Sherpa, and that little story gets us very connected to why the Sherpa do such a good job helping folks up and down Mount Everest. They're highly regarded as experts in their field. They guide others through extreme conditions. So those first two bullet points have really summarized what you've done with your friends, with your spouses, with your families. They've looked to you in your role to be guidance. And when you haven't been sure, you've looked to others who are regarded as experts. Maybe it's experts in Zoom, like Julie. Maybe it's experts in doing strange dinners because no one can come over, but you figured out. You've become experts at doing DoorDash and have people land it on your front porch. Experts guiding you through the extreme conditions, and you've lived the life. Here's what separates you from the others and what the Sherpa do. The third bullet down. The Sherpa do not care how many times they go up and down the mountain. They are only going to concern themselves with how many times they get others up and down the mountain. Understand their spirit is about service, not about personal success. I'm going to say it again, about service, not about personal success. They shift the narrative and give away their energy to the benefit of others. And they use their expert skill to go up and down many times. As a matter of fact, they have gotten so good at it that their bodies have become different. Their bodies have become different to manage low oxygen, high altitude, and extreme cold. Our bodies have figured out how to adapt to this last year. Some of us kicking and screaming, but most of us have adjusted and adapted because we've given ourselves to others. When we have done that, we are healthy, they are healthy. The hardiness, the expertise, and the experience, that fourth bullet down, have helped us with our adaptation. You see, we are Sherpa in our home, on our street, at church, in our community. We don't have to go to Tibet, to China, to climb Mount Everest. We're climbing it every day right here. And your special spirit has been really good about reading the right sign and traveling the right speed, just like our 80-year-old group of ladies did back there in our story. So take heart in the fact that you have been a leader when you least knew it, many times because you simply put your best in and made it about others. You were selfless. Beautiful job with that. Julie, we'll click on to our next screen, please. Thank you, Julie. And we should see now in front of us the words success and significance. And you see that word success? and a little picture there. So Julie will close it right there, okay? Beautiful. What I want you to do is take a look at those two words side by side, success and significance, and then look at the two photos that are happening in front of you. I gave you a little sneak peek about being selfless when I left the last story slide, but now we're going to really polish it up for you. Look at those two pictures and the two words. And if you're comfortable, use the chat function and just type in, what's the difference between the two in your mind? So if you're comfortable with the chat, go ahead and put it in. I'm going to give you probably a minute to go ahead if you're comfortable with that. And then I'm going to summarize this slide anyway. But if you're comfortable with the chat, what's it look like? What's the difference between the two pictures in your mind? Success on the one, significance on the other. And I'll pause there just to let you look. Beautiful. Success is completing a goal. Nice job. At the top of the mountain, you've scaled it. Alone versus others. Looks alone. Significance as partnership. Beautiful. Focused on him. Significance the other. Significance not about you. Helping others. You guys are a gifted class. Julie, my goodness. What a group. This is going to be beautiful on the recording too, because it's going to make this class look gifted. That's awesome. Personal excuse as opposed to group success. Yes, yes, yes. Another 15 seconds or so. You guys are on a roll with your chat. Degree of importance. Significance is a degree of importance. Yes, you factor into the overall total. Wonderful job. Well, you've knocked it out of the park. And I mean that the best way. What you saw pop up on the chat and what you all felt is the power right now. Because success might be just getting through it. We win the next week or the next month. We've set a personal goal. But you know, it can be a little lonely. What we have found now is that when we move over to significance, there are a lot more folks involved. You look down, they're reaching down and pulling someone up off the front of that wall. That's a Tough Mudder race. And this group is trying to scale and it says, no, quit in here. Here's the cool thing about this slide. The young lady that is reaching up and needing all the help as she scales that face, her teammates are touching her hands right now. Her teammates are. But the person beside them that is not touching her hand is from a different team. They just see the struggle and they're willing to help. It's like seeing your neighbor need the driveway shoveled. Maybe not yours to touch, but yours to help. It's that ability to be on a phone or spend time in a FaceTime chat that you just say, hey, I'm here for you. I don't know what you're going through exactly, but I'm going to reach down and give you something of my best. It's the ability to look for what others need and being selfless enough to help. The significance piece is your ability to involve others towards success. By ourselves, we can't do it. Just like going up Mount Everest, not on our own. Just like winning this last year, not on our own. So significance really is an energy towards success. And the more times we reach down and pull up in life for others, crazy what happens to our own success. Crazy what happens to the energy to get us the next leg up the mountain. You're winning because you all are doing this. I know some of you on this, I'll call it Zoom call, because I get to at least see a name and see some faces. I know this is what you do out there. So Mike is not adding to you. He's simply stirring up what you already have and honoring it and asking you to keep that energy in the game. All right, Julie, as we go to the next one, we'll do the same thing. You'll have two words and two pictures side by side. So when you get there, that's when you can stop. Beautiful. We'll pause right there. Super job. It's so relieving, isn't it, Julie, when you know it comes up right? So group, you are so talented. I called you a gifted class on that last thing, success, significance, the battle. Well, do the same thing with this slide. You see the team members on one side. This is the Little League World Series, and they're standing at attention for the national anthem. And on the right, you see that group on the bench, all locked in there, just peeking around at the field. Compare those two and enter your thoughts in the chat. Yes, doing your own thing as a team member, but boy, as a teammate, you're in it together. Yep, you have a role versus being together. Beautiful. Thank you for that. Yeah, you see partnership and compassion. Notice that energy word, compassion. Focus on individual versus support of each other. Yes, yes. Stands alone as a team member. Yep, good teammates make everyone better. What a massage of this topic that you're doing beautifully. You're landing this spot on. I'm only pausing to see if any other chats are catching up, but I know that you've landed this one beautifully. So I'm going to actually energize what you saw in the chat and reinforce what all of you are feeling in your heart about this slide. On the left, absolutely, each of those young men have a position to play. First base, pitcher, shortstop, outfield. And somehow you could almost guess. And they're standing there just doing their role. And they're part of a team. There's some individuals that would line up there. Then you move to the right and you notice that there's no separation. They've helped one another become team tight. They've locked their arms to say, my energy will feed yours and ours will feed the group. And when someone needs a little extra bump, I just send it because they know I'm locked in. They can trust that I'm there. By themselves, these are not wrong versus right on the screen. But the teammate energy on the right gives us strength to take on the climb. Our positions we know in a neighborhood, in the family, certainly in our spots in a work world or a locker room. But when we can energize and become a family-like energy or a relationship energy, there's power to persevere. I tease everybody when you look at this picture. That's actually the Little League team I played on last spring. I'm the guy on the far right, the littlest guy left. No, I'm just kidding. But I could probably sit in on that team and be just fine. But you get the vibe between the two, and you nailed it beautifully. So we have this ability to lock up. Do we look for it? The Sherpa find a way to get folks to the next spot by locking up with them based on their skills and talents. In fact, you've seen some TV commercials lately about a blind man making the trip to Mount Everest. Watch your TV particularly through the Super Bowl weekend, that was going on over and over again about a blind man scaling Mount Everest, and the Sherpa helped him. Imagine what he felt he didn't have, but the locking up of one another that helped him have what he needed. It's a perfect example. All right, Julie, we're going to go forward to the next slide and just cue it up so you see the grid, the two green arrows. Don't do anything with it yet, so just leave it like that, okay? So what we're going to do now, group, is we're going to put all four of those photos together and show you why when they're separate, they're okay. But when two of them work together, what happens to all four? So I'm queuing you up. All four are great, but when two of them work together, they impact all four. So Julie, I'm going to use the word click one at a time, okay? So click, their success, and you guys did a beautiful job describing what that was. Click, Julie. Their significance. Oh, you did a beautiful job segueing or saying we need to build toward that. Click again. Team member, alone, position, our spot. Julie, click again. Teammate, and all the energy that happened. So before we go the next step, I'm going to tease and say, here comes a little math project for us all. Remember back in algebra or in some form of our math journey, we had to put little dots on a graph. And we had to remember that you went up the one axis, which was called the Y, and you went out to the other one on the X, and you had to put the dot. Well, there's this quadrant that I like to call the power quadrant in relationships that tie right into that math. The power quadrant in relationships is plus, plus, where we would have put the positive, positive up in that right-hand corner. Well, in leadership, we call that the power quadrant because we go plus, plus with all the right stuff. So watch what's going to happen when I ask Julie to click the next time. Watch what's going to happen. Go ahead, Julie. Oh my goodness, 2 of those pictures moved up into the power quadrant. And did you notice which 2 went? The reaching down, pulling up significant slide, followed by the locked up teammate. You see, you have been a significant teammate to your spouse, to your friendship circle, to those who have had health issues that you've just tried to be with. You've reached down, pulled up, and hooked up on the climb. You've helped them get up the stormy slope. You know, when the Sherpa hit a storm up in the Himalayas, they huddle, they get tight, they pull in, and they use the energy of one another to weather the storm as significant teammates. And then they embark upon the next climb. You've had to do that. You're running a race that there's no finish line to. We're going through tough weather that makes it hard to even be in the house because you want to be out of the house. All of these things that you're doing to create Sherpa spirit are significant teammate behaviors. You're being helpful. But guess what you're doing to success and other people that watch you? Julie, click again. Other team members and success follow you to the power quadrant. They come up the slope with you because of the positive energy of your Sherpa spirit. Other team members, family members, folks that you're serving with say, what's going on with Julie? She's pretty good. Or what's going on with Cheryl? They're figuring this out. I want to lean in and see a little bit more. Because you've reached down, pulled up, and hooked up, you have caused others to find you as you scale the mountain. Click again now, Julie. You see, those 2 slides are your secret sauce. It is your special tool belt. It's your special coat. It's your special goggles, all the things that you're climbing. And it's also what's allowed you to read the right sign and travel the right speed, like the ladies didn't do in the opening story. You see, your significant teammate behaviors, reaching down, pulling up, and locking up, have become the energy that you've given to others at a time when you didn't have any answer. School districts have been asked to do things they've never done before. They don't have the answers, but they can be a significant teammate to be helpful to the journey. Certainly healthcare providers, telehealth. I do a doctor's appointment on a screen. Are you kidding? But you've been a significant teammate to say, yep, I'll hit the buttons and at least get you so you can see me. And we'll figure out what we do from there. And then, oh my goodness, this vaccination program that's going on right now. Should I do it? Should I not? What do my doctors say? Being a significant teammate to taking one another to make sure we do it and hit our appointment. We're doing those things that help us have hope. that allow us to make the next step up the climb. Your reaching down, pulling up, and locking up has become very special. Julie, click again. So now I'm going to tell you why it's worked. You say, great, Mike, you've told me I've done it, and I kind of see the picture. So why does it happen every day for me? What's my winning equation that gets me up and gets it in the game every day so I can be reaching down, pulling up, and locking up? Well, I call it the winning equation. There are 3 things you've been doing that have been just awesome, and you probably haven't even been thinking about it. You just do them. So Julie, click this first one. You've had to figure out, which voice do you hear every day? Will I be able to make it through this day? Will I be able to manage the next week? Will I be able to manage, I'm not feeling very well right now? Will I be able to manage not seeing my loved ones when they're in the hospital or the nursing home because I can't do it like I once did it before? Will my kids be okay at school doing this around the kitchen table? Notice it's a question. It leaves you vulnerable. But look right beside it, the I will voice. It's got an exclamation point. I will get up and get breakfast ready because I can control that for my kids. I will log them on the best way that I can. I will call my friend today because they just need to know I'm going to call. I might not have anything special to share, but they look forward to it. I will drive by and honk the horn because I know that's something that will energize them. Notice the difference between the two. Will I leaves you vulnerable and not very energetic, nor using your skills and talents. The I will voice leans you in. As small as it can be, it's powerful to help someone else. Ageless, timeless, genderless, across the globe, dissolved into just be our best. I will fill in the blank. That's what you've done. You've answered the call by putting your I will voice in. That lets you reach down, pull up, and lock up because you say I will to it. Next one, Julie, please. We have to have a next play mentality. Oh, it didn't work very well today. Should I quit? Oh, I'm no good at this, so I'll never be any good at it. Heck with that Zoom stuff. I'm just going to wait till someone picks me up and takes me to a health talk. Well, that might be in the future. But right now you have to say, what can I do with the next play? Something bad happens. Well, I can get all bent out of shape about the bad, or I can say, what's the next thing I can do with my I will voice? What's the next thing I can do with my I will voice? Make a call, pick it up, plan something better the next day. The next play mentality is what they use in sports so that players do their very best with the next play because they can't control the last one. Powerful us in life. The day didn't go well. What's the next play for tomorrow? And how do you get it done? With an I will voice. Then finally, Julie, click again for the last leg of the journey on the equation. Lean on me. We have to have those folks in our lives that we know will reach down and pull us up. And we need to be that person to somebody else. And we have to be intentional about it. Don't pretend that they know you're there. Let them know that you're there. Text them. Send them a note. Jump on Zoom and just say, hey, 15 minutes today. I just want to see your face. You need to have the Lean On Me group. You right today, 19 or 20 of you are joining a Lean On Me group, whether you knew it or not. You said, yes, I will join today. I'm going to see what I learn, so I might do something with this. And most importantly, the energy of one another showed up through your chats and through some of the pictures that we talked about. You see, your ability to reach down, pull up, link up, or lock up keeps going because of this equation. I will voice, next play mentality, whatever that is. And who are my group? Who are my people? The kids today say, who are my BFFs? And I'm going to find my BFFs. Be that for someone else. Be intentional to get into their world. And then also know who those are for you. If you keep doing these 3 things each day or thinking that way, your ability to reach down further gets better. Your lockup gets tighter. And before you know it, you're in the power quadrant. Other people want in. They want a piece of that special sauce you have, whatever it is. And you didn't even know you had the power other than to just do these things each day. Notice that I shared with you, you don't need a degree to do this. You don't need special training. We have been given these special skills as resiliency to what life brings. Centuries ago, this same thing was going on. And centuries in front of us will be the same. It's the gift. And we sometimes look away instead of looking into it. It's right here for us to use every day. And it helps us win in this crazy, crazy situation we're in. So Julie, let's click one more time. I use this photo and then I wrap up with a story to put a smile on your face, because you look at this photo and it's actually from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That is a bust of one of the Hall of Famers. And that's a young boy who's visiting and taking a look face to face, almost staring him down, as that's a pretty important guy I wanted to come here and see. Well, here's where it goes for you and me that makes it so powerful. Everything that we shared through the day today, significant teammate behavior, really making sure that we lock up, reach down, pull up, and use the equation. That fellow on the left had to do that through his career, and he became a Hall of Famer as a result. Each of us has the chance to be a Hall of Famer in the lives of those around us. Oh, we might not get to ESPN or Canton, Ohio. That's not the goal. The goal is, can someone look at us and say, you were that significant to my life, to my career, to my coping, that you are held in that type of regard? Can we be held in the regard of a bronze bust, which means we can last in a timeless manner in the heart of someone else? We take a home there. We have the opportunity to grow there. And that legacy on the left is you. And that child on the right represents every encounter that we get to have with whomever. Children are the best because they're the most innocent and they are our best teachers. So I love to insert them at this spot, because if we listen to them and watch their joy, watch their resilience, watch how they manage, they teach us a lesson. And they're watching us to make sure that we become iconic. We want to be the most inspiring place on their earth. Can we be the most inspiring person to someone else in our journey up this mountain? It's powerful. And that picture should make you smile, but it should also make your heart just almost stir in a circle to say, who can I be that for today? And who can I be so strong with in their journey up this mountain that they would look at me and say, I'm glad you're on that journey with me. I'm glad you walked with me. And they may not say the words, but they will certainly show you in some form or other. Be the most inspiring person to someone that stares at you and needs you with that type of help and support. Here's my closing story to wrap it up for us today. And it really wraps around everything that we shared. The story goes like this. There's a father who comes home every day at 5 o'clock from his job, and his little son, who is 6 years old, waits for him every day. Can't wait for dad to come through the door, because here's what they do. They have playtime. They jump right into the backyard, onto a game, or even onto, yes, I can say it, Fortnite, or whatever the kids are playing on their gaming. He can't wait for dad to come home because they do it every day. This one particular day, dad comes home a little tired. So his little buddy's waiting for him, gets in the door, and he says, buddy, I need about 20 minutes or so, and then I'll join you for our playtime. But in the meantime, while you're waiting, I want you to put this puzzle together for me that's in the newspaper. And what dad had really done was he wanted to read the newspaper. So he cut out a map that was inside of one page and cut the map into several like puzzle pieces. So he's got all these pieces of a map that he gives to his son and says, you go put that map together, bring it back to me. When you do, I'll be done and we'll be ready to play. Dad thinks he's got at least 15 or 20 minutes. His son is back in 5 minutes. Dad doesn't even get into the third article that he wanted to see. And the little guy's back with this thing. Guess what? He taped it together and brought it to his dad. So his dad puts the paper down and says, how in the world did you do that? How did you figure out to put that together that fast? Listen close to what his son says. He said, Dad, you gave me these puzzle pieces of the map. Well, I turned them all over really fast, and I realized that they formed the shape of a man on the backside. The face of a man shows up by being putting it together. When I got that face of the man all put together and I turned it over, the world turned out okay. How about that story? When I got the face of the man put together correctly, the world turned out okay on the other side. You see, each of us are that face. And the puzzle pieces of those that were around are hoping to put those pieces together so that as we be the very best version of ourselves, the worlds that we're in, when we turn it over, will turn out okay. But we have to be the best version of ourselves. If one piece is just off, the world doesn't turn out quite so well on the other side. So our challenge is to be the best version of ourselves as significant teammates, so that as we have folks looking at us, the worlds that we serve are that strong, are that supported, and most of all, scaled to the top of the mountain. And your Sherpa spirit got you there.